That's my boy.
Quinn's back here dying.
The end.
Matt, back up a little bit.
All right. I know that you guys have been waiting for this for a long, long time. Anxiously anticipating Mr. Jenkins' story, and I promise not to keep you very long. Many years ago, there lived an evil man by the name of Pierre Dubois. Hey! He was a wealthy man, but he earned his wealth by very nefarious means. Deceit, lies, murder. And pretty soon, he felt his life was being threatened. After all of those deceit, lies, and murder. So off he set into the middle of nowhere, Alaska, to build himself a castle. A huge castle where he could be isolated from prying eyes, and nobody would know where he would stash his immense wealth. And so he died there. A lonely life, but very rich. Many years passed. The legend of the Black Castle grew. Many people had tried and failed to find the treasure of the Black Castle. One day a man by the name of Benton appeared in Fairbanks, Alaska, and began inquiring with the local populace about where he might find, or if anybody knew where to find, the mysterious Black Castle. He spent several weeks going from bar to bar, restaurant, business, asking everybody he could find whether or not they knew where the castle was. Finally, one day he was in this very seedy bar on the outskirts of town, silently inquiring about the castle, when a strange, dark Indian approached him and said, "I think I can help you." Benton was excited. He wanted to get started immediately, but this Indian named Altunen said, "I'm sorry, I need a couple days to prepare. Meet me here the day after tomorrow, and I will take you there." Benton was, like I said, very excited. He got his things together, could hardly wait. The time came, he appeared, and the dark Indian appeared with his dog sled, and together they made off for the Tall Uncut. After a couple of days of heading north, if you guys know anything about Fairbanks, it's about 150 miles from the Arctic Circle. So going north, man, it was going to be cold. They did a lot of, didn't do a lot of talking, but every once in a while, that mysterious Indian consulted a medallion that was hanging around his neck. He held it up, mumbled something unintelligible to Benton, and moved off in a direction and continued their trek. After about 2 weeks, he was starting to get a little antsy about everything. And so one night he said to the Indian, "Altunen, when are we going to get there?" And the Indian said, "We are very close." And so Benton said, "I have to ask, what is that thing around your neck? You keep speaking to it. I don't understand." So the Indian said, "This is an evil medallion of truth. taken from the dark castle. And only with this can you find it. And Benton was intrigued, and he said, well, how far are we? And the Indian said, we are almost there. It's just a mile or so away. We will go there in the morning. And Benton said, I don't need you anymore. Boom! And took that medallion and decided he was going to find that treasure tonight. So he asked the medallion, where is this castle? And the medallion gave a tug. And so he marched off in that direction, and pretty soon there it was, a huge black castle. He walked all the way around that castle, and he found 2 wooden doors. The medallion said, how do I know which door to take? And he heard in his mind, if you take the right door, you will not die. So he thought about that for a second. Take the right door. Well, how do I know which one's right? And then he thought about it. Oh, take the right door. So he went in the door on the right. He got in there. He lit a torch, slowly but making his way through the cobwebs, through the dank and musty smells. And he came to a 3-way or 4-way intersection with a path ahead of him, and to his right and to his left. And so he pulled the medallion out and he says, I do not know which way to go. And the medallion said, if you take the steps, you will not die. Take the steps. He was very confused by that, and he took the torch and he kind of held it through the passages. And there, the passage on the right was a set of stairs. Of course, take the steps. So he took a right and he went up the steps. And he came to the top of the steps, and there was a door there. So he slowly opened the door, and inside was a coffin. And he was very excited because he knew he had found the heart of the castle, and the treasure was soon to be his. All of a sudden, that coffin started to levitate. He didn't know what to do. He was deathly afraid, and so he backed up away from that coffin, and it started to follow after him. So he turned and he ran. He started making his way back down those stairs. He got to the bottom, and he ran down the hall, and he turned around, and the coffin was right there. Frightened for his life, he pulls the medallion out and says, how do I stop this coffin? And the medallion says, try a Luden's cough drop.
Oh.